Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello students, good day. I welcome you back to our class. In the last class, we are on the concept of savings, consumptions, and all the national income. And we were able to explain to you, I was able to explain to you the concept of savings in our last class. Today we are starting with consumptions. We are starting with consumption. I told you that when you earn an income, you earn income from a particular from a particular employer. That income it is divided to be divided into two units. One is for consumption. You part of that money to buy what you need in that particular month, in time of food, transportations, and so on and so forth. You pay for your children's school fees, and so on and so forth. That's what we call expenses, and it's also called consumption in economics. And again, part of that money should also go for saving. Should go for saving. Now, the one that go for saving, we go through to cooperative society, or you may save it in the bank, and so on and so forth. We have treated about the savings, and today we are looking at consumptions. What is consumptions? Consumption is the total quantity of goods and services bought by a consumer during a specific period of time. Yes, what you buy to be able to survive for a particular period of time out of your salary. Is what you call consumptions. Consumption. Now, I've told you that we have treated the savings, investment, and today we are on consumption. We want to look at the relationship between these three concepts: the relationship between savings, investment, and consumption. What are the effects of one? What are the effects one has to the other? Or what are the effects of these three to our national income or to our income, personal income? All these things. Now let's look at the something on our screen. Savings, investment, and consumption are related to income as follows. You can see that Y depicts income. It depicts income. Y is equal to C plus S. What that means is that income is equal to consumption plus savings. What you earn as your salary is between your consumption and saving. It's going for consumption and saving. That is, what determines your income? Your income determines your consumption and savings. Now, again, Y is equal to C plus I. Again, we can also say that our income is also our consumption and investment. That I is investment. Also depend on our income. Now, S is equal to I, which is saving is also equal to I, which is investment. What we mean by that is that when you want to invest, it's part of what you save that we invest. When you are saving a certain amount of your salary monthly, that amount of money, when it has become something big amount of money, you can use that money to invest in a particular business venture. And that's why you say your saving is equal to investment. Now, where Y is equal to income, I want to tell you that C is equal to consumption or expenditure, YS is equal to savings, YI is equal to investment. Now, let's continue. Now, propensities to consume. Propensity to consume, yes. To consumer, to consume. I'm very sorry, to consume. Now, African propensity to consume, which is APC. It's not the APC of a particular political party. It's APC in economics. What is that? This is the proportion of the national income that is consumed, yes. This is a proportion of national income that is consumed. That is unit amount you consume or out of your total national income in a particular month. That's what we call average propensity to consume. Now, APC is equal to, that is average propensity to consume, is equal to total national income, consumption, divided by total national income. That is C divided by Y. To get our average propensity to consume, we use national income to divide our consumptions. Now, marginal propensity to consume, MPC. This is the relation between changes in income and changes in consumption. Yes, assuming now your income increases from 10,000 naira to 20,000 naira. Now, if your income increase from 10,000 naira to 10,000 naira, at what rate? What are the percentage that change effect on your consumptions? That's what you call marginal propensity to consume. That is, what happened to your consumption as a result of change, increase in your salary? That is what you mean by that. Now, marginal propensity to consume is equal to change in consumption over divided by consumption divided by changes in income. Yes, divided by change in income. Now, which is, that change, that is a sign for change. That triangle is, we use it to depict change. That change in consumption divided by change in income. Now, let's go to propensity to save. Propensities to save. Now, what is the meaning of that? Average propensity to save. What do we mean by that is that what are the rates at which you will be able to save out of your part of your salary when your salary change? When your salary changes. Maybe when your salary increase, do you able to increase in your savings? Or at what rate your savings increase? And that's what you buy. Average propensity to save, it is a measure of unit of proportion of income which you save, yes. To measure the unit of proportion of your income that you save as a result of change in your income. APC, which is average propensity to save, I'm very sorry. That APC is APS. I'm very sorry for that mistake. APS is equal to total national savings divided by total national income, which is equal to S divided by Y. S divided by Y. That is our saving to get average propensity to save. It's equal to S, our saving divided by our income. It gives us the average propensity to save. Let's go to marginal propensity to save. Marginal propensity to save is that when your income change, what is the level of change or the percentage of change in your savings? That is the meaning of marginal propensity to save. It is a measure of relationship between changes in the level of savings and changes in income. Yes, that's what I have said. I've said before that. Now, MPS, which is marginal propensity to save, is equal to change in savings divided by change in income. Divided by change in that is income is equal to, that is change in S divided by change in Y. Change in S divided by change in Y is equal to APC plus APS equal to 1. Yes, you know that. Whatever your savings, average price to save plus average price to consume, both of them, when you add it together, it must be 1. Is that taken? Now, if you want to get your average price to consume, you minus APS from 1. It gives us average price to save. Now, again, to get your APS, you minus APC from 1. And that is that. Let's continue. Elementary theory of multiplier, yes. What do you mean by multiplier? Multiplier, in a layman definition, is when your income change, what is the level of your change in your consumption and savings? What is the effect the change in your income has on your consumption and saving? That is multiplier. Is there a negative effect or positive effect? That's why you say when your government are making some economic policy, you say that the multiplier effect of this policy will be on our savings or our consumptions. These are what we call by multiplier. The multiplier is the ratio of change in national income to change in autonomous expenditure. Yes, that is when national income change or your personal income change. What are the changes that brought about your autonomous expenditure? That consumption you make that you cannot be able to, you cannot afford to make, not to make. Those are the now formula. Formula is that K is equal to, well, that K we could use to represent our multiplier. K is equal to 1 over 1 minus MPS is equal to, it's also is equal to 1 over MPS. Or multiply is equal to change in income over change in consumption. When you have your change in income divided by your change in consumption, it gives us multiplier. Where K is equal to multiplier, MPC is equal to marginal propensity to consume, MPS, marginal propensity to save, Y is equal to change in national income, C is equal to consumption or expenditure, while I is equal to investment. Now, example. Suppose the MPS is 0.75. I've told you that your MPS and your MPC, both of them, when you add it together, should give us 1. Now, suppose the MPS is 0.75. Why our MPS should be 0.75 minus 1, and which should be 0.25. This means that 0.75 of every additional income will be consumed. That is, when your income increase at any rate, it means that 0.75 of what the increment of that change your income will go for consumptions. Now, the amount saved will be what? 1 minus 0.75, which is 0.25. That is, out of in any increment in your salary, that increment, say 0.75, you go for consumption. While 0.25, you go for your savings. That is the assumption of this particular theory. Now, since MPC plus MPS is equal to 1, I've told you, I've said it rightly, that MPS and MPC, when you add them together, they give you 1. MPC and MPS are related by multiplier, like K is equal to, when we want to relate them together, say K is equal to 1 over 1 minus MPC. Since 1 minus MPC is equal to MPS, now, yes, I've told you. This implies that K, our multiplier effect, is that 1 over MPS. To get our the change in consumption, you say K multiply effect of change of that change is equal to 1 over MPS. And that is where we stop today. Inshallah, assignment has been given. We use this particular what do you call it, formula to solve that assignment. If there is any area that is not clear, you try to make a clarification. Thank you very much for listening and viewing. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta